This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz, zzz?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
At Schatz Crossroads, we make 8 gallons of homemade ranch dressing every day, so you can smother your dinner salad with it, dip those crispy golden French fries in it, and dunk your breaded chicken strips. You can even cover your... Wait, no, you can't put ranch on steak, or can you? Schatz Crossroads, don't forget the ranch.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
It's time for Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Let's go live to the stadium in Bismarck, North Dakota. It's time for Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Well, thank you, Nick Hallberg, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network on this Saturday morning. Sun's out a little bit, and so should be a nice Saturday for you folks in the capital city. I know lots of things going on around the state as basketball continues in full swing, but again, we are live from the Stadium Lodge here today in Northwest Bismarck, right off Divide, right off the interstate. And, hey, if you're looking for a place to, well, grab some lunch, dinner, or whatever you may, make the Stadium Lodge your home today, as they have full-service menu, specials going on throughout the day. Make the Stadium Lodge your home. If you're looking for a place to watch some football tomorrow, well, certainly the Stadium Lodge is your home this weekend for all of that. As last night you heard Central McLean and Wilton Wing right here on the PSP Network. Todd Domries and Joe Cattell had the call for you on that one. Also coming up today on the PSP Network, I believe we've got some basketball for you, as I got to reach in here and grab out my PSP Network schedule as we are near the end of the month of January already. It just seems like Christmas was over, but coming up today, you've got a St. Mary's at Minot boys basketball game up in the Magic City. That should be a good one as well. And then as we turn into February, Monday, we will be out in New Salem for a Garrison and New Salem Elmont, and then we will roll into Tuesday, where we'll be up in Washburn for the Cossacks and the Cardinals coming up right here on the PSP Network. As we said, we roll into February, and, boy, right around the corner, I mean, we're looking at a couple weeks. District girls basketball tournaments start, and so we are certainly nearing the end of our winter sports. But when that means you're nearing the end of that, well, that means you're getting into tournament time. And, boy, it's going to be a fun one for you coming up in the March. I know we'll have lots of coverage for you right here on the PSP Network as we take a look last night in what took place in the West Region on the basketball side of things in the boys. Well, Century bounced back after that loss to the Dickinson Midgets, and they got a win last night over Watford City, 88-54. Bismarck High over the Wilson Coyotes, 96-77. Legacy over Turtle Mountain, 86-72. And Dickinson defeated Jamestown, 73-68. So the Midgets, boy, they continue rolling along. And we'll have a chance this morning. We'll talk with their head coach, Danny Glaser, this morning. Also coming up, we'll start the show off with a little UMARY baseball. We'll talk with their head coach, Tanner Spencer. Then we'll visit with Jason Schwarz, the head girls basketball coach in Minot. And then we'll go up to Four Winds Minnewacan, where we're going to talk with Rick Smith, the head boys coach. And then we'll go out to Glenelg and Hebron. We'll talk with Brayton Fox, the girls basketball coach out there, as the Glenelg and Hebron Bearcat making some noise out in that region. They're on a roll there. We'll talk with their head coach. And then we'll go back to Four Winds. We'll talk with the head girls coach, Sean Gourd. And then we'll round out the show. We'll talk with the voice of the University of North Dakota Athletics, Jack Michael. It's been a while since we visited with Jack, as I know the UND women's basketball team is rolling along. We'll find out a little bit more about that. In West Region action today in the capital city, Williston will be at Century. That'll be a 2:15 start. And then Watford City will be at Bismarck High at 3:45. And then today, again, up in Minot, we just talked about that. St. Mary's will be at Minot. That'll be a 4:15 tip, boys game only. And then Turtle Mountain in town to take on the Mandan Braves. So the way the standings look now on the boys' side of things, as Minot High, boy, I'll tell you what, Dean Winchesky, these last couple of years has got his teams rolling, as Minot High is leading the way at 10-1, Century at 10-2, Bismarck High 10-3. St. Mary's making a little bit of noise. They're at 6-4. Dickinson 7-6. Legacy 6-7. Followed by Mandan, Jamestown, and Williston, and then Turtle Mountain and Watford City. So certainly some big games coming up. And a couple games that you're going to want to put on your calendar coming up the end of February. As keep in mind, is Century and Minot High have not played this year. And those two games, there'll be a makeup game. I believe that is February 17th, if I'm not mistaken. And then right away, Minot comes down here, and then they turn around, does Century, and goes back up to Minot. So certainly keep those two games on the docket, as those two certainly could determine who is the seeding in this West region on the boys' side of things. On the girls' basketball front in the WDA, last night in action, just 3 games for you last night, as Century defeated Watford City 89-42. Legacy all over Turtle Mountain 83-35. And Jamestown over Dickinson 86-62. Today, Watford City and Century will do battle at 6 o'clock. Turtle Mountain will be at, that isn't right, on the girls' side, as they've got Turtle Mountain at Legacy, as they played last night. Well, Jamestown, I'm sorry, Saturday. Watford will be at Bismarck High, Turtle Mountain at Mandan, and then St. Mary's will be at Jamestown tonight on the girls' side of things, as I was looking at the Friday schedule. So in the West region on the girls' front, the way things look there, Century undefeated and keeps on rolling, as they are 11-0. Minot High behind them, 10-1. Bismarck High, 8-3. Jamestown crawling up there. They're 6-4. Legacy 7-5. Mandan 6-6. And then it's Turtle Mountain, St. Mary's at 2-8, and then Watford 1-9, and Dickinson 1-10. So, boy, I'll tell you what, the logjam there for the seedings in that middle of the pack is certainly going to be a fun one to watch on the girls' side, as Century and Minot are starting to separate themselves from everybody else. But Bismarck High, just a couple-game lead over Jamestown. They've lost their last 2, have the Demons. Jamestown's won their last 2. So we'll keep an eye on that for you, as well as full schedule again next week in West Region action. Well, on the other side of things, on the hockey front, things are starting to get interesting in the West Region hockey. As a couple of weeks ago, we had a chance to talk with all of our head coaches, and one of those coaches was Troy Olson. His team was reeling at the time, but they certainly now are starting to make some noise in that West region, as they've won their last 2. And then you look at Bismarck High, well, they've lost their last 6, have the Demons. So that is a jumbled mess as well, as Century, with 20 points, Bottineau Rugby 22, and Bottineau Rugby in town to take on Century there. So a big game on that one. Legacy, they've won their last 3 in a row, so Legacy's starting to roll. And then Minot's won 2 in a row, and Jamestown, well, they've appeared that they're the best team in the West in hockey, as they've won their last 7. But in results last night, Bottineau Rugby in town, they knocked off Bismarck High 2-0. Century over to the Williston Coyotes 5-2. North in a no contest over Jamestown. And then Mayville Portland over Hazen Beulah 6-0 in a no contest. Today, coming up, Bottineau Rugby will take on Century. That'll be a 3:15. They'll drop the puck there. Williston will be at Mayville Portland in a no contest. Hazen Beulah will be at Jamestown. That will be the Jamestown JV, and that'll be a 3:30 start. So the West Region hockey looking like this. Jamestown in first, 10-2-1. They've got 32 points. Minot 9-1-0. They've got 32 points. Bismarck High 6-6. They've got 23 points. Legacy 6-5 with 22 points. Bottineau Rugby 7-4 with 22 points. And Century 4-1-3, and they've got 20. Williston behind them with 19. And then Dickinson 18 and Mandan 16. So pick your seeding for the West Region tournament. Good luck on the hockey side of things, as the that West Region tournament quickly coming up around the corner, as their state tournament will take place the end of February. So that should be fun to watch as well. On the wrestling side of things, I know that Bismarck High made their way up to wrestle the Williston Coyotes last night, and certainly the Coyotes making a little bit of noise, but Bismarck High handling Williston 65-10 on the mat last night. St. Mary's also defeating Williston 40-28. Jamestown all over Mandan 67-6. Minot over Dickinson 40-24. And then Dickinson over Turtle Mountain 78-4. Today, Aberdeen, I know there's some tournaments. Aberdeen tournament, Dickinson triangular, Williston at Dickinson, Watford City, and Bismarck High will be in Sydney, Montana for a triangular there. In Sydney, if anybody doesn't follow wrestling in Montana, Sydney, a proven power horse in the state of Montana on the wrestling front. So those should be should be a good triangular. Now you look at, as far as the conference is concerned, in the WDA, Bismarck High undefeated 8-0, Minot 6-2, Century making some noise at 5-2, Dickinson 4-2, Watford 3-2, Jamestown 5-4, Williston 3-3, Legacy and St. Mary's 3-5, Mandan 1-7, and Turtle Mountain 0-9. And coming up this Thursday will be the the rivalry as Century and Bismarck High will do battle. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that we will have that for you on the PSP network, as I know Chuck Claremont has been doing some crash work on that. As yes, Bismarck High and Century, you're going to hear that on the PSP network. Chuck Claremont, John Gums will have that for you coming up this week on the PSP network. So that should be a lot of fun, as it always is. Bismarck and Century will do battle on the mat. So that should give you a pretty good idea of what's taking place around the West region. I know on the swimming and diving side of things, our colleague Todd Domries, called the game last night and woke up this morning. He's on his way to, is in West Fargo as West Fargo Invitational going on down in West Fargo. That's about 18 minutes away from getting that one. And then coming up this week, you'll have the Century Duels coming up this Friday. And then this Saturday, you're going to have the Century Invitational coming up. That will be coming up this Saturday. So lots of things starting to wind down here in I shouldn't say wind down, but it just seems like yesterday we turned the calendar into January, and now we're about ready to turn the page into the month of February. And certainly we encourage you to go out and like and follow all of our social media platforms on the PSP network, and follow those. That'll keep you up to date on what we've got coming up for you across the PSP network. I know as we get into March, there's going to be a lot of games for you, from district boys and girls tournaments to region tournaments. And then obviously we'll round out the season with all of our state tournaments coming up in the month of March. So certainly looking forward to bringing those to you. As we get into start talking spring sports, I know some of those sports not far from getting started. And one of those, as I said, we'll talk with Tanner Spencer from the University of Mary baseball team today, as they get right around the corner, February 18th. They get things going down in Lindenwood University. But we'll have a chance to visit more with Tanner Spencer about that. What else can we tell you here? The most recent Class B girls basketball poll. Kindred leading the way. Four Winds Minnewacan, second. Tie for third, Central Cass and Rugby. Grafton in at 5, Garrison in at 6, Edgeley Culm Montpelier in at 7, Thompson at 8, Linton HMB at 9, and Bowman County and Hatton Northwood with a tie at 10, and others receiving votes, Langdon Area Edmore Munich and Shiloh Christian receiving votes in the most recent Class B girls basketball poll. We'll get the boys poll to you when we as we move on throughout the show here this morning. We're going to take our first time out on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We come back, we'll talk with The head coach of the UMARY baseball team, Tanner Spencer, back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoo?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
At Scott's Crossroads, we make 8 gallons of homemade ranch dressing every day, so you can smother your dinner salad with it, dip those crispy golden French fries in it, and dunk your breaded chicken strips. You can even cover your... Wait, no. You can't put ranch on steak. Or can you? Scott's Crossroads. Don't forget the ranch.
This broadcast presentation on the
Let's
PSP
go back
Network
to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Oh, welcome back. Excuse me. Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard here on the PSP Network, as we are live from the Stadium Lodge. And, hey, if you're looking for a place to grab some lunch, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Full-service menu. Specials going on as Danny and the staff will take care of you up here at the Stadium Lodge. Well, who would have thought we'd be talking baseball at the end of January, but we are going to because it is right around the corner. And joining me this morning right now is the head coach of the UMARY Marauders, Tanner Spencer. Tanner, good morning. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Scott. Thanks. I appreciate it. Happy to be on.
Hey, you got it, man. And Tanner, it just seems like, I was just talking, when we came in the intro of this thing, it seems like we just turned the calendar to January, and now we're on the verge of turning this thing to February. And when you get to that stage, boy, I tell you what, you guys got to be getting a little excited. It's actually time to get out in the diamond and again get after somebody.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think we're three weekends alive away, and then we're at Lindenwood, so it's coming up in a hurry.
Yeah, and Tanner, certainly, I know my first opportunity to visit with you since you got this position, back in December of 2019, and boy, I tell you what, and spending some time at Minot State as you did, I mean, just talk about when this opportunity came about, and you having the opportunity to finally get in and be a head coach in the Northern Sun.
Yeah, no, I feel really, really lucky. I'd say kind of how early the opportunity came about, and it was I'd say the perfect chance because Coach Moriarty took the job before me, and we kind of want to run a player development driven program here, and Mo had a similar vision, right? So it made some continuity with the turnover, and Coach Lennon's been really good in kind of letting us build this thing the way we wanted to, and Bismarck's been awesome. So really lucky, and it was kind of the perfect stop for the first one here.
And Tanner, one of the things you talk about that I was reading is that one of your the way you approach this thing is incorporating technology into player development. Maybe explain that for some folks that maybe don't understand what that is and how it's done.
Yeah, no. So I would say kind of our whole staff's background would be rooted in exercise science. So I think like objectivity in the process is a big deal for us. So kind of on the assessment front, we use a bunch of technology, and we're super lucky to have the facilities that Mary has here, right? To where, you can use some biomechanics lab stuff, you can use some force plate stuff, and then kind of to be able to take it to, I would say, the baseball aspect with, we have a couple of Rapsodos, which essentially is just a pretty objective measurement of ball flight, and both on a pitching and a hitting standpoint. And then I would say we can use a little bit more of, if we say like kinematic, how guys sequence data as well, and just gives us a little bit more of an objective lens as to, I'd say, what guys do well and what they do poorly, and then makes coaching a little bit easier. And I'd say the buy-in factor, right, especially when we're inside so much, the buy-in factor definitely increases when guys can see, objectively that they're getting better. So it's a big part of what we do.
Yeah, and I would think that when particularly some of these younger kids, when you're bringing in freshmen or whatever coming out of high school, and I'm sure when they get there they go, this is a whole new thing for them. But as you just said, is that when you can show them something, from that standpoint, that the improvement that they're making, I can't believe that, like you said, the buy-in has got to be quicker than probably you would expect.
100%. Yeah. No, and I think that was kind of the. We got to Minot, and then obviously got to Mary, and trying to, I'd say, like, hedge our bets with being inside so often to where, you can't truly see like, hey, I'm getting hitters out at a higher percentage. So let's find a way to, I would say, make this as player centric as we can. And for us, that was, let's be objective and show them that they're getting better. And the response has been great, and our guys are bought in and pretty obsessed with getting better, which is what you want, right?
Well, yeah, certainly, and obviously, that a really good start to that last year is, you placed 6th last year in the Northern Sun, and 18-14, you had the first winning record in the NCAA era, at 21-20. So I mean, when you start talking about that and throwing those numbers out, I mean, obviously the process that you and your coaching staff is taking, this thing is showing some development and some progress on the baseball field.
Right. Yeah. No, I think last year definitely a good start to kind of the rise, if you will, on what we're doing. But I'd say moreover, like, we have really, really good guys, and they care about each other and care about culture and understand, what the standard we're trying to build is. And so our upperclassmen right now that, kind of have an extra year with COVID, are pretty locked in on what we're doing. And again, can kind of uphold the standard at a really high level.
Yeah, as we're talking with Tanner Spencer, the head baseball coach out at the University of Mary. And, Tanner, when you look at this coming off a season like you had last year, when you can return 7 regulars in your lineup and really 14 of your 15 pitchers coming back, led by, from Cal James, Austin Wagner, a couple guys that were picked to watch. You got to feel pretty good about this veteran team that you're going to put on the field coming up in a few weeks to start this Northern Sun or this season off on a good note.
Yeah, no, definitely high expectations rolling into 22, and I think we had a really good veteran team, or like you said, we have a good veteran team coming back. I think we have some big time, I would say, transfer additions that'll kind of push that even further. And I would say, we feel like anytime you can add depth, it makes the internal competition a whole lot more fun. And I would say that was the biggest challenge last year, right? When you're kind of turning it over is, you got 9 guys, let's hope they stay healthy and let's hope we can pitch a little bit. And this year, I think there's some depth kind of all around the diamond that, one, makes it a little less stressful, but 2, internal competition's been great.
Yeah, and maybe touch a little bit on the 2 guys that I mentioned, Cal James,
Sure.
from an offensive side, and then Austin Wagner from a pitching side, and the numbers that Cal put up last year. I mean, boy, I tell you what, the reigning NSIC Freshman of the Year and first team All-Conference at third base, a sophomore. Boy, I tell you what, 358, 443, and a 633. Boy, I tell you what, those are some pretty good numbers. Not to mention 13 doubles, 9 home runs, and drove in 34 runs. Boy, I tell you what, pretty good guy to have in the middle of the lineup for you.
Yeah, that's definitely an understatement. But no, Cal's he's great, and he just continues to get better too, which is the exciting part. I think it's just a really dynamic offensive skill set, right? There's not a lot of swing and miss. There's a little bit of pop. It's a guy who has a really, really good idea of what his approach needs to look like and what he does well and what he does poorly. And, I think you look at the middle of our lineup and Derek Schoen's another first teamer who's returning, and you kind of put those guys in the middle, and that makes for a ton of fun. And not a ton of fun to get through with, like I said, Cal's pretty dynamic, and Schoen's kind of got some big boy pop in the middle there. And then Austin Wagner, it's so Wags came to us from Abilene Christian, and he was the Friday at Abilene Christian, so the number 1 at ACU. And I think, Division I transfers are a big part of Division II baseball, but you don't typically get like the frontline one, right? You get a middle of the bullpen one and try and make him a rotation guy. And so to get a number 1 from the Southland was a big deal. And he's pitched like it, right? There's poise, there's presence, the demeanor's great. Probably as true of an ace as I've had at this level. With the stuff's good, but I'd say the intangibles, carries himself like a pro guy every day. So we're really lucky to have those 2 guys.
Hey Tanner, I got to ask you, when you look at it, and you've been doing this up in this part of the country for a couple of years now, and when you get on the recruiting trail and you start trying to bring guys into Bismarck, North Dakota, and we all know what it's like. I mean, it's like you talked about, you're indoors, and then sometimes even in middle of March you may have a game, and the next day you got 6 inches of snow on the ground. I mean, when you start talking about it, and I think what overcomes that is just the university in general, but how hard is it to get guys to come into North Dakota to play this game of baseball as you think about, well, I'm going south. I want to play baseball. Right. I'm going to Arizona. I'm going to go to Texas. I'm going to go somewhere. I mean, how has that dynamic been?
Right. Yeah, no, it's unique. And like I've said quite a few times, I think that if I didn't have the experience at Minot State, it would be really, really hard from an on-ramp standpoint, right, to figure out kind of how we can make this whole thing work, and I'd say where our limits are and so on and so forth. But one, like you said, the University of Mary going to come away with a really good degree, and if you're talking about private school education, right, you're usually talking about $65,000, $75,000, $80,000, and we can make it a little bit more affordable than that. And secondly is just player development, right? I think we have a pretty good track record pumping out some big time guys, and it makes the sell substantially easier when we can find the guy that, one, kind of views player development the way that we do as a staff, and then two, is willing to figure out how good he is, right? And I think Bismarck, I'd say locationally, it's this perfect inclusion criteria, right? Because we don't get the guy that wants the sexy, right? Like, if you want the sexy, let's go to Florida, man.
Yep.
If you want to get better, let's come here. And then I'd say the last part is the airport makes it a lot easier, right? We got guys from all around the country, and you can pretty much hop on a flight to Denver and get up to Bismarck pretty easy.
Yeah, no, certainly it is. And you look at the roster and just from all over the place. But and then, you look at your schedule, and obviously the weather dictates that, because you get things going coming up on February 18th, and you do not see the friendly confines of the municipal ballpark until April the 2nd. So a lot of road miles for the Marauders baseball team to start off.
My GA does the hotel stuff, and he's great, but he does the hotel stuff, and we're planning the non-con is a nightmare, right?
Yeah, sure.
But two, it's we had the conversation last night at practice in terms of, it feels slow right now, and then, we get on a bus on February 16th to head to Lindenwood, and it's 2 practices a week from there on out when we get into the crazy schedule. And it's a lot of fun, right? I think, like, when I look back on college baseball, I mean, I think that's one of the big parts of it, right? Is you're a bus warrior, and you start to feel like a pro player in the middle there when you're spending a pretty substantial time on the bus and seeing a new ballpark every day. So
yeah, no question about it. Well, Tanner, hey, I appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck when you get things going in a couple of weeks, and as we move through the season and get towards the spring, we'll get a chance to visit with you again just to see how this team has progressed from the start of the season. All right.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for the time today, Scott.
Hey, you got it, Tanner. Take care. Tanner Spencer, the head baseball coach at the University of MINOT, as they get things going on February 18th. We'll take a timeout. We come back. We'll talk with the head coach of the Dickinson Midgets, Danny Glosser, back with more after this timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and...
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network. Remember to like and follow us on all of our social media platforms as we are live from the Stadium Lodge in Northwest Bismarck. Hey, if you're looking for a place to get some lunch today, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here today. Well, now we turn our attention into the West Region side of things. Is on the line right now is the head coach of the Dickinson Midgets boys basketball team, Danny Glosser. Danny, good morning. How are you this morning?
Morning. I'm doing well. We had a busy week, but I got some rest this morning.
Well, yeah, you certainly have had a busy week, and really, I mean, that all started, with a big win over the Century Patriots, but we'll get more into that. And, Danny, let's go back to really the start of this season, now as we turn the calendar into February and inch closer and closer to that West Region tournament. But, coming off a season last year where you were 6-15, and, when you started this season, Danny, what did you know? What did you expect out of the team that you had coming back, knowing you had a couple of good ones in Cranston and Dvorak to lead the way for you?
Yeah, that's basically all we knew. We knew that our front court was pretty talented. And, Alex Dvorak can do some special things on the offensive end. Whether all three phases of hitting the outside shot, being able to get to the rim. He's got a good jump shot. And he's able to share the ball really well too. And Britton Cranston is just a fun, exciting kid to watch. Both ends of the court, whether it's steals, rebounds, and he's able to hit outside shots too. And he's done a lot more of that lately, and that really helps us definitely on the offensive end. But I think the biggest thing that was kind of uncertain was Isaac Daly, our senior big guy. Well, 6'4" is big for us. So, but he's had a tremendous year. Just about averaging a double and just consistent. And that's one thing that's been the pleasant surprise is that senior stepping up and battling every big guy in the league and holding his own. And that was one thing that has really took our coaching staff by surprise is just his consistency and being able to be successful down low against, usually guys that are a lot bigger than him.
Yeah, well, certainly. And anytime you can develop somebody like that and get him to add to a couple of talented guards, I mean, that certainly is going to improve your team. But, you look at this, your season, Danny, so far, and, you start out with a win, you lose 3, then you come back and win 3, and then you lose 3, and now you got a little 4-gamer going. So kind of been an up and down season, but as any coach in the West Region is going to say, whether it's Darren Mattern, you, Jason Horner, Jordan Wilhelm, I don't care who it is they're going to tell you that, well, yeah, we had those 3 losses early, but you know what? The reality is we want to be playing our best basketball when it comes the end of February. And it seems like you guys are kind of on that path right now.
Definitely. And one thing you talked about last year's team, and, I just think that last year's team, just obviously a weird year with everything going on.
Yep.
And it was tough for our leaders. They really didn't know what to do and when to do it. And what to say and what they could do. And so it was definitely a different year. But this year is totally different with those two guards that you said. Britton and Alex are our captains, and we just have unbelievable leadership. And, when we go on that 3-game skid, the attitude never really changed. It was like, they show up every day, that work their tails off, and they do what they have to do to get better. And it's just a fun group of kids to coach, and they're fun to be around, and they do what they're asked to do, and they do it to the best of their ability. So it makes my job a lot more fun and a lot more easier. But honestly, it's just leaders like that really help make a team be successful.
Yeah, as we're talking with Dan Glauser, the head boys coach out of Dickinson High, and Danny, you talk about it too, and anytime you can have a week like you had this week, and it started against Century 85-73 in your place, and then a win against Jamestown last night. I mean, two teams that have in the last few years have consistently been in the upper part of the WDA. I mean, so certainly a big week for you. But talk about the effort your kids gave on in that Century game, coming out of there with a 12-point victory.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to lie. To be honest with you, we needed that game Friday night against Jamestown for our standings. And that was a big game.
Yep.
And we were really preparing for that Jamestown game with our defensive plan and our defense philosophy and how we wanted to play against Jamestown. And it just happened to kind of fall into place that we could do the same thing against Century and maybe just work on some things and then fix it up for our big game against Jamestown. And that each team has a good, talented big center, and they both have guards that are tremendous shooters. And but all season, even games that we win, we've just been lacking, one phase of the game,
sure.
whether it's rebound, giving up offensive rebounds or shooting or one game you have 35 turnovers or something like that. And it just happened that night we were able to do kind of everything the right way. We only had 10 turnovers. We shot the ball well. We defended the heck out of them. And, we just kind of put everything together and kind of had a chance to see what we're capable of, to be honest with you, when you do everything correctly. So it was exciting for the kids, obviously, and it's been a couple years. I think the last time we beat number one at home was Jamestown a couple years ago, and it's been a while since we had some success against Century. So it's good for the kids to see what they're capable of, and that their hard work and their everything that they've been doing is starting to pay off.
So is it fair to say, Danny, that maybe that this last week has been the best week for Dickinson High basketball this year?
Yeah, definitely. And it started, like you said, I think this is, I'm not sure, maybe 4 in a row, but it really started in the Mandan game.
Uh-huh.
And has just kind of rolled since then. And I think, just the defensive effort that we gave against Mandan has really carried us, and it let those boys see that, it really takes both ends of the court. And obviously with our size disadvantage that we usually have every night, rebounding is a big key for us. So we keep concentrating on that. But when we're able to do that, good things are going to happen. But overall, yeah, we were able to get Jamestown Friday night, and a team that beat us the first time. But now we get, it's short-lived in the WDA, just like everyone says. Now we got to hit the road and go to Bismarck a couple times next week against some outstanding teams. And, you never really get a chance to sit down and celebrate as today we just start looking at legacy and how we could possibly, what there is we can do against them.
Well, and I think too, Danny, with what's been going on, I mean, and you see the movement in the standings, particularly in the middle of the pack, and I say it every year, and I never disappoint, but this could potentially be one of the better West Region tournaments that we're going to see based on the balance of all the teams in the West Region.
It is that 4 through 9 or it's 4 through 10. It's crazy. Any team, obviously, it's nice to get that first round where you don't have that play-in game, I think, and that 4 and 5 seed is kind of a big deal, and where you end up in the WDA tournament that first round, even the second round. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and you try not to look forward to it too much because you still got a month of being able to improve, and that's one thing that we got to do. We got to be more consistent on both ends of the court, and hopefully be able to grow with those wins that we've had, and see what it takes to be successful, and hopefully just continue to do that.
Yeah, well, you're certainly on the right path, Danny. Again, you got Legacy coming up on Tuesday. You got them out there, and now you try to go for the sweep. But again, anytime we know that life on the road in the WDA can be a nightmare sometimes, but you got to play them all, and you try to get Legacy again. But hey, keep up the great work, Danny. Look forward to seeing you guys coming up in the first part of March, and we'll talk then. All right.
All right, I appreciate it, Woody. You take care.
All right, you too, man. Danny Glosser, the head coach of the Dickinson Midgets, as they come off a couple of big wins this past week, Jamestown and Century. And as you heard him coach say, is that they were more locked in on the Jamestown game. And right now that's got Dickinson sitting in that 5 slot right now at 7-6, one game separating them, Legacy, and Mandan. We'll take another timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We come back, we'll talk with the head girls coach of the MINOT Majettes, Jason SCHWARZ, back with more after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz, zzz?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network. It's Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We're live from the Stadium Lodge in Northwest Bismarck. Hey, if you're looking for a place to grab some lunch, make the Stadium Lodge your home, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here to this afternoon and into this evening. Joining me, our next guest, taking some time as he's stepped away from practice, as he's trying to get the Majettes back, keep him on a roll, is the head coach of the Minot High Majettes girls basketball team, Jason SCHWARZ. Coach, good morning. How are you this morning?
Hey, good morning. Doing fine. Doing well. Great to be here.
Well, I tell you what, no rest for the weary, is there? You play a couple games, you get right back in the gym on Saturday and get prepped for another big week of West Region basketball.
Oh, man, I hate days off. First of all, I love being around the kids. You know, it's the highlight of my year, the basketball season, being around these great group of kids that want to come in and work hard every day. And we've all got a common goal, and we're working hard to go after it. So, we took the day off yesterday. It was a tough week this week where we gave a lot of great effort. So, we took the day off yesterday and let them rest up a little bit. So we wanted to get back into the gym here today.
Yeah, a couple of big wins this week, against Bismarck High being one on the road, 65-50, and then a win over St. Mary's, 75-52. But, Jason, let's go back to the start of this season and knowing – what you have coming back, and I tell you what, I just every time I watch your girls play, I just get more impressed of the composure. Now, granted, you've got a young team, which is always good, but just the composure that these ladies, that these girls show on the floor, as young as they are. If you walked in the gym and never seen the Majettes girls basketball team play, and you told somebody you had 2 or maybe 3 eighth graders on the floor at one time, I don't think anybody believe you. But certainly, what a group of young ladies you've got.
Well, and we've tried to put a lot of time in the summer too, and get that opportunity for them to not only play together but gain valuable experience going against other varsity clubs. And that composure you talk about is only continuing to build from day to day, game to game. But yeah, you're absolutely right. But you look at those guys; they've played a lot of basketball up until this point, so they understand the game. And sometimes when you have some young ones like that, they don't know what they don't know. So they don't know that, this might be a really big game, or this is a really big situation, or whatever. They're just there to play basketball, and so. There's some plus and minuses to having that those kids out there.
And Jason, when you talked about reaching the goal, and you look going back and a rough couple of years for Majettes girls basketball, and really it's 2001 was the last time I think you won the West Region tournament, and it's been a number of years to get to the state that you've been in the state tournament. Obviously, the end-all be-all goal is to win that state tournament in March. But what were some of the goals that you got that you set with this young team at the start of this season?
Well, I think looking at things, we certainly felt like we could compete to be one of the top 4 teams to go on to the state tournament. But there's at least 7 teams or so in our WDA, 6 or 7 teams, whatever, that can all say that same thing. And who knows, when you get to tournament time, there's always some upsets and whatever. And someone else that maybe didn't have a shot sneaks in there somehow, and all of a sudden they're in the thick of things. So, we just wanted to be able to be in a position to compete and, get to that last day of the WDA tournament with a chance to move on and, as they say, survive in advance. But I think so far, as the season has gone, we've exceeded our expectations, and we're a little further along in the process than we were maybe planning.
Yeah, it is. You talked about, a 6-game winning streak to start the season, and then you sandwiched that tough loss in your court to Bismarck High, and then since that loss, you rattled 5 off in a row. One of those being a win at Bismarck High, and I want to, we had an opportunity to cover that game, and boy, I tell you what, I thought your girls, I haven't seen you play all year. It appeared that may have been one of the better games they played all year long, because I thought they were just good in a lot of phases of the game on the 25th.
Yeah, we're getting better in most areas. I think looking back to that game and the previous game against Mandan, those 2 games were our best games defensively.
Sure.
I think we really we disrupted things more than we have in the past with our opponent. And, we know that we've got to raise ourselves to a championship level defense. And I think those 2 games were as close as we've been to that kind of level. And so, that was something that we talked about coming into the season, was our defense and our rebounding had to get much, much better than where it was in the past. We've got kids that can score and can shoot and do all kinds of things offensively. But we know in the WDA and in Class A, it's going to come down to defense and rebounding. And those are 2 areas where we've made tremendous strides. And those are the 2 reasons why, we won those 2 hard-fought games.
Yeah, and you look at what you got coming up. Obviously, you got Turtle Mountain coming up next week, and then Mandan at your place. And then, a game that was made up coming up really a week from today. And I think it's fair to say, Jason, that might be the real ultimate test for your team as Century comes to town, and you get a chance to gauge where you're at against a team that really hasn't been really touched a lot to this point, other than maybe Bismarck High game of battle. But we saw what you did against Bismarck High. Will that be a real gauge for you and where your girls are at next Saturday?
Of course it will. And I think it'll be a gauge for Century as well to just see where they're at as well. So it's, we need to get to, that point with some of these games and some of these teams as we, start heading down the second half of the season here and getting closer to the stretch run. We still have a month to go yet, but, but yeah, the season has gone fast, and yeah, we on a daily basis, we want to test ourselves and challenge ourselves and see if we're progressing from one day to the next and one game to the next. So certainly we're looking forward to that game. We know Century's looking forward to it as well. Should be a fun day.
Yeah, it should be. And Jason, I just got to bring this up to you because I don't care what West Region coach you talk to, whether it's boys basketball or girls basketball, is every single coach that I've talked to has said, hey, you know what, that early season stuff, yeah, we don't like losses, but hey, they're okay. But when you get to the end of the year, every coach is going to say, we want to be playing our best basketball the end of February and into March. Is this team, do you think, have they played their best basketball yet?
No, not at all. And all the coaches could probably say that as well. But I think looking back, I point out Mandan and Bismarck again. Defensively, those were our 2 best games thus far.
Sure.
But I sit back and I say, man, we're still making a lot of mistakes defensively that we can't make at tournament time. But then, we can always fall back and say, all right, we got a month to work on this. We got a month to fix it. And so I think we're in a good position where we're seeing progress. We're seeing that we're making strides. And, we come out offensively and have some really good games sometimes. And sometimes when we don't, play as well offensively, a lot of times it has to do with who we're playing. And they're disrupting a lot of things, and they're giving a heck of an effort on the defensive end of the floor. They're playing good defense, so that certainly affects how well we're playing on offense. But we haven't had one of those games yet where we've put everything together defensively and offensively at the same time. So, like we've been talking about, we've still got some young kids and some inexperience. So there's a lot of room for growth. And every now and then we have some growing pain games and moments and halves, but that's all part of the process and figuring yourself out, before the end of the season hits.
Yeah, no question. Well, certainly the process seems to be working right now, Jason, and appreciate the time this morning. Best of luck the rest of the way. If we don't see you before, we'll see you at the Bismarck Civic Center early March and see if this team can punch their ticket to the state tournament.
All right. Thanks a lot, Woody. Appreciate it.
Hey, you got it, buddy. Jason SCHWARZ, the head coach of the Minot High Jets, as they get set to take on Turtle Mountain coming up Tuesday, as they're coming off a 75-52 victory over the St. Mary Saints. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll go to Four Winds, Minnewacan, and we'll talk with the head boys coach. He's a legend, Rick Smith, back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council
to the
is
stadium in overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network as we invite you to like and follow us on all social media platforms as we are live from the Stadium Lodge in Northwest Bismarck, and you're looking for a place to grab some lunch this afternoon, make the Stadium Lodge your home here this afternoon. And joining me right now as we stay on the hardwood is the head coach of the number 1 ranked team in Class B boys basketball, Rick Smith from Four Winds, Minnewacan. Coach, good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Woody. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Things good.
A little blustery out there, but we're safe indoors.
Well, that's kind of been the motto for everybody here these last few weeks. Blustery, cold, and windy. Not a good combination.
Yeah. No.
Well, Coach, hey, nonetheless, certainly your group of guys is certainly not cold, as you guys right now are on, let's just say, somewhat of a roll. Number 1 ranked, 10-0 on the season, and last year, coming off a 4th place finish at the state tournament. I know probably a tough one for your guys, but Coach, I mean, talk about go back to the start of this season. I mean, you brought a couple of seniors back from a team last year, and you had a good sophomore in Dang. I mean, talk about how this team's progressed from the start December 13th to where you're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I've told a lot of people, when the year started, losing 8 seniors and 6 of them that played a bunch, 4 starters and, your 6th and 7th man that could have been starters on that team last year. And they were just a lot of good, well-rounded kids that we lost. And it was a really good couple of years with those guys.
Yep.
That led to a couple state tournament appearances. But, not knowing, and then losing about 90% of your scoring, bringing 1 starter back, and a lot of kids that we knew that were very, very talented kids. But when you don't have that varsity spotlight on you, you don't know what you're going to expect. And I don't think, my senior leader, Jaden Yankton, didn't know what to expect neither, because he always played with that group that graduated last year, and
Sure.
He grew up with those kids and he played with those kids. So he really didn't get to play with this group a lot as he was growing up. And, him and I were both a little curious. We talked and said that this team was very, very capable of being just as good as last year's team. We just got to trust in each other and work hard in practice and go out and just keep improving every single day. And, we took off, and then what better game to throw them against right away than the Enderlin game right off the bat, and they passed with flying colors. Yeah, we had some learning things in that game, but that's what you want to look for, so you can correct them as you go on during the season. But they've really stepped up, and they've really meshed well together. It's something that I was a little curious about, and how this team was going to mesh and not playing a lot together as they were growing up. And man, they've really passed a lot of tests with flying colors so far. So really, really happy with the improvement, and the keep learning every single day and working hard in practice. But when you got a good leader like Jaden Yankton that's taking the bull by the horns right now, and just really led our group, and then I really needed that from him, and he's really taken that role. Just fantastic.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of that you can probably attest to the guys that he played with, as you talked about. I mean, he was able to get that leadership ability. But when you talk about, passing the test with flying colors, I mean, we all know it's no secret what you've done. I mean, when you go out and schedule, I mean, you start with Enderlin, then you go with Beulah, and then you go Trinity. I mean, and when you start talking about Class B basketball in the state of North Dakota, Rick, is that, those 3 teams right there are teams that, obviously Enderlin, a team looking to get to the state tournament, but those 3 teams are state tournament teams. And, boy, your kids handled that first 3-game stretch with no problem at all.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. You're not only great teams, but great coaches, and their programs are just top notch every single year. And it's the type of teams that you want to play, because they're going to bring out your weaknesses. I mean, there's no doubt about it, and the Trinity game, Greg, even though Greg, his team is struggled to score a lot this year, but I mean, they're going to bring that defensive intensity, and they're just going to make you work for every single thing. that's just the type of teams that you want to play, and you go, oh, okay, we got to work on this some more, and then you go against Brant and Beulah and go, okay, well, we got to work on this some more, and you'll go against the big dogs, against Enderlin, and okay, yeah, we need to work on this in practice. So that's just a lot. That's what playing those type of teams really helps you a lot, and you go back to that practice floor and you got a practice plan ready to go, and things that you have to continue to work on and continue to get better on. So, and that's really, I'm really thankful that those type of teams always are willing to play us every single year, and it really helps us get better every single game.
Well, yeah, and then you kind of front load the schedule, and then maybe let's just say you back load it a little bit too. I mean, coming up in February, which will be a real good test as you head into the district and region play, or in the region play, and you got rugby coming up, Dunseith, a team that's been in and out of the poll, and then you got Shiloh at the end of the year. So certainly you know what you had when you started, and you're really going to know what you got as you get into that Region 4 the district and the region tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, to play those three teams at the end of the year really helps you to prepare for postseason run, because every postseason every postseason game that you play is going to be a grind, and you're going to have to grind out wins, and you're going to have to do something special on the defensive end or something special on the offensive end. And what better teams to play at the end of the year to get you prepared for that type of environment. And you're also going to bring in the crowds in those type of games, the hostile crowds, the loud crowds, and what better way again to prepare you for that postseason. So again, we're really looking forward to that end of the year run where we can continue to get better and to play those three teams at the end of the year.
And Rick, we're talking with Rick Smith, the head boys coach at Four Winds Minnewacan, and you talk about the veteran team that you had last year and graduating the number of kids you did, and then this year you kind of inherit a younger team. I mean, obviously you got two seniors in Yankton and Pearson, a couple of juniors, but boy, a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors, a couple freshmen in there. So certainly, I mean, a young group for you and moving forward in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a group that you look at this sophomore group and you kind of compare them to. Don't really compare them. Well, you compare them in a sense to last year's senior group on how they grew up together and how they played when they were just at a young age, and how they went up through the system and played together until they were seniors in high school. Well, this sophomore group is kind of the same basis. They've been playing together since they were young, even though they're only sophomores. They've logged in a lot of court time, with our outlaw coaches, with our junior high coaches that take them out to tournaments, and they really get that team playerness that they come up together through the system, and they know how each other plays, and they've played so many games together. And so you're going to look at this sophomore group, and they're going to log a lot of games in together, as they have already. And as they get up through the system, and like I said, we got two seniors this year, one junior that plays a lot. But this sophomore group is going to be special. And then they're led by a couple of really nice, good sophomores. And the thing about Dang and Left Bear, the thing that they've really taken to a new level is the weight room. And they've really enjoyed the weight room, and it's taken their game to a new level. And, again, only sophomores, so really fortunate to have this group in our program.
Well, you talk about one guy, and we saw him play some he played some minutes for you last year. Is Dang, and just the athleticism, you could see that it was there. And maybe Rick, I mean, have you talk about the weight room, and certainly that's obviously something that's going to attribute to that. But have you seen a big improvement from him from last year to this year? In one season?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could tell last year that he played as a freshman with no fear in the biggest stage of Class B basketball. And you go, oh, this kid's going to be pretty special. To put him out there and for him to play with no fear against, the best teams in Class B basketball. And then having, Dang having the thing about those kids, like we have a day off today, but I know they're going to come and grab the keys and they're going to be in the gym. I mean, that's been their mentality all year. And we take a day off and you think these guys are tired, but I hear I'll be getting a text message here any minute. Can I grab the keys? Can I grab the keys? And they're just top-notch kids. They're on the honor roll. They're honor students, and that goes a long ways when you can mesh all that together. And that's there's just no doubt it's going to make these kids better. And to put the work in like they have, and they're only sophomores. They're just going to keep improving with leaps and bounds. But Dang is just and the thing about it, they were patient last year.
Yep.
They probably could have been playing for a lot of teams, but they played on a group where we had 8 seniors, and now they just kind of said, okay, this is our time. This is our time now. This is our team. This is our time. So we're going to go out and play to our best of our abilities. And man, oh man, they're just really taken off, and I've really been happy with this group so far.
Well, Rick, I don't know how you cannot be. Certainly off to a great start, and obviously looking to make another appearance back in the state tournament, and then hopefully you guys get there. We'll get a chance to see this team. But, Coach, hey, I appreciate the time today. Keep up the great work. Always good talking with you, and hopefully we'll be able to see you at the Minot State Dome this year, all right?
I hope so, Woody. You take care. All Thank you for having me on.
You got it. You too, Coach. Take care. Rick Smith, the legendary coach at Four Winds Minnewacan, as his team continues to roll, and they garner that number 1 spot in the Class B boys basketball standings. We can run those down for you. Kindred in at 2, Enderlin 3, Ellendale 4, Central Cass 5, Thompson at 6, Powers Lake 7, Flasher 8, North Border 9, and Bowman County in at 10. North Star, Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion, Grafton, and Shiloh receiving votes in the latest Class B boys basketball poll. We'll take another timeout. We come back. We'll go out to Glenullen, North Dakota. We'll talk with the head coach of the Bearcats, Brayton Fox of the Lady Bearcats basketball team. Back with more in overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz?
I think your quash later valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network. Hey, we invite you to like and follow us on all social media platforms. And again, we are live from the Stadium Lodge. If you're looking for a place to grab some lunch, make the Stadium Lodge your home, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here at the Stadium Lodge. Well, we stay on the hardwood, and this time we switch to the girls' side of things. And joining me right now, out of Region 7 is the head coach of the Glenullen Hebron Bearcats ladies basketball team, Bray Fox. Bray, good morning. How are you this morning, man?
Doing good. It's been a fun ride this season for sure.
Well, I got to believe it is, and you know, I mean, let's go back. You know, last year you're coming off an 11-9 finish, and you know, if you go by the I'll just call it the Bible of basketball in the state of North Dakota. You look at the Hoopster and looking at where you were picked in that region. You know, you were down. They had you picked at 6 out of Region 7, but right now you guys are in the driver's seat. So talk about the start and what this group of young ladies has done for you to this point of the season.
You know, we spent a lot of time, you know, obviously as everyone else does, trying to get better and trying to figure out, you know, how to mix and how to mesh. But we started the season with that mentality of, hey, let's stop being average, right? Like we've had that middle of the pack team for the last 4 years now, I think, since we made it to the state tournament in 2017. Every year since then has just been, you know, 500 basketball. And a lot of times that early Monday night dismissal from the regional tournament. And we wanted to buy into that whole mentality we're not going to settle for that this year, right? We need to step up and just try to get a little bit better each game and just make sure that we're setting ourselves up to definitely take over and do what we need to do when it comes down.
Well, yeah, finals. No question about it. As a big win on the 27th against Hettinger Scranton, you know, a team that you talk about state tournament, we've seen their make appearances there and moves you to 14-2 overall and 12 straight wins, most ever in school history. And you know, I want to go back to you look at some of the games you played so far, and you know, you talk about those 2 losses, and one of them is to Garrison. And I guess if you want to gauge the season, you know, a team that's ranked and undefeated as well, that was game number 2. What improvement was that a? And I know there's not such a thing. Was that a good loss for your group?
For the start of the season, for sure. I mean, that was probably one of the best teams that we've played in the last 2 seasons. I mean, obviously, you know, out of Region 7, you've got the Hettinger Stanton. Coach Pierce has always got everything strung together really well. Bowman County is usually tough. Beulah's pretty tough. But out of the last 2 years, the teams that we've played, I'm going to say Garrison's probably one of the most complete. I mean, they played really good defense against us. They couldn't miss. I mean, I was saying they could pull up and hit from the parking lot if we gave them a mistake. It was insane. And, you know, that one kind of refocused us, got us back down to earth a little bit, I think, and we're able to get into the New Salem tournament. And then, Kidder County was just a nightmare for us. I think we had like 20-some turnovers. Yep. And then after that, we played beach. We had some region play tucked into there, and the girls are just, they're really buying in. They're stepping up. Defense is kind of the one thing that they really are taking pride in. I think we're only giving up like 30 some odd points a game or something along those lines. And when you play teams like Heading to Scranton that are up there in the 40s, 50s, 60s, it makes them feel pretty good when they're able to, do what they set out to do.
Yeah, and you talk about that loss to Kidder County, but then you guys have just been on a roll since then, and you look at and for you 150th win last week as well. So I mean that's a good milestone. But talk about some of the leaders of this team. I know Taylor Christensen's one of them, a junior point guard, all region last year, and looking at this team too, Brays. You got to feel pretty good because, I mean, you're a young team. You got 2 seniors on this roster, so you got a bunch of younger gals stepping up for you and leading the way on this little run you're on right now.
For sure, and the best part about it, and I've had teams similar to this before, where my seniors kind of buy in, right? Like they know their job, they know their role, they do exactly what they need to do to help the team be successful, and I think some of them do understand that, the juniors are going to shoulder a lot of it. And ultimately, when we gotta step up and we need something big out of you, a lot of times they're able to find that basket. We're very fortunate with how we're built right now. Like you said, I mean, with Taylor's been a 4-year starter for me now. And it's nice to have that, continuity with the point guard. But a lot of these girls here now have been playing for me. I think my seniors, I got them as 7th graders. So I might have had them now for 6. And it's just, it almost feels like business as usual. My other juniors that I've got Michaela Schneider, who's, I want to say, a board and a half away from averaging a double-double a game. I mean, she, for being an undersized post, I mean, she definitely works her tail off, and you would really be able to tell that, I mean, she's not nearly as tall as the competition. Kaylee Schatz, I mean, that's a basketball family I've got going right now. I was fortunate enough to coach her sister for 4 years. She was, just diehard ethic. Kaylee's carrying that over now. I mean, she's coming in, she's busting her tail, helping Taylor with that little bit of, relief when it comes off of having to run the one all the time. Kaylee's able to step up and, make that happen. Courtney Superior, that's kind of one where, it's kind of a two-headed sword there. If you end up having all these players, the points don't necessarily get spread around as evenly as you like them to, but she's kind of that all-around player that steals, rebounds, assists. She's going to get out there and make stuff happen. And the scoring column's not exactly where I know she wants to be. I try to keep preaching that, hey, it's not all about the scoring. If someone takes away one of our top, and she's going to step up and fill and have one of her nights. And I think that's kind of what makes us a little bit, a little more difficult to prepare for, is we've just got so many offensive weapons.
Well, and that's nice to have, but you talk about it too, the Sapir name. It just seems like every year you look up, you find a Sapir somewhere out in that area. But you talk about that and the role that she has to play, and I think that I don't know that a lot of kids, as you talked about, everybody wants to score the basketball, everybody, and do things. But I think sometimes that if you got a kid that can do the other things, the dirty things, the little things, and they got to realize how valuable they are when they're able to do those things that maybe others cannot do.
For sure. And I mean, it plays right into, how her brothers played. I was fortunate enough for a season to get to coach both of her brothers. And again, not outstanding dynamite scorers, but worked their tails off and came up with any other statistic that I needed to have them come up with and be able to facilitate and be able to, keep the thing moving around. It's rare to find players that are able to step and fill into that role, but it's nice when they do. And it shows when that success of the team steps up.
Well, you look, we're talking with Bray Fox, the head coach of the Glenullen Heben Lady Bearcats. And Bray, as you look at this, and it just seems like we turn the calendar into a new year. And next week we're going to turn the calendar into a new month. And we're just a couple weeks away from the Region 7 tournament coming up. But as you look at what you have left, New England, Hazen, Killdeer, Bowman County, and Trinity, 5 games left. I mean, and the run that you're on right now, what does this team maybe need to do down the stretch to get even better than they are right now?
Well, and we fully understand coming down the stretch here that, everything that we've done so far has just been to help get us set up in a better position than we could be in. And ultimately, those last 3 games are all that matters. If you can't string the last 3 together, this season's for naught. But, you take a look at last year's regional tournament we had out there were some pretty heavy favorites. And then all of a sudden, our championship game is Southard heading or Scranton. And that was, a crazy atmosphere out there. So, our region out here is, I'd be willing to bet even right now, there's still 5-6 teams out of the top 8 that are going to be extremely competitive when it comes down to Monday and Tuesday night for sure. We're not satisfied, right? We can be happy with what we're doing and we can keep working, but we can't be satisfied, right? 14-2, it's fun, it's a blast, but we know we want to get, we want to get back to that state tournament. It's a fun group of kids. They're working as hard as I know they can, and it'll be nice to see it pay off.
Yeah, well, certainly a great start, and continue that and finish this thing strong, and hopefully get a chance to see the Lady Bearcats play in that state tournament coming up in that first week of March. Bray, hey, appreciate the time this morning, man. Best of luck the rest of the way out, and hopefully we'll get a chance to run into you or talk again soon, all right?
Yeah, appreciate having me on. Thank you.
Hey, you got it, buddy. Take care. Bray Fox, the head coach of the Lady Bearcats out in Glenelg and Hebron, on a run right now as they look to round out their season and make that run to Grand Forks in the State Class B girls basketball tournament coming up the first week in March at the Betty Engelstad Arena. We'll take another timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We come back. We'll go back up into Four Winds, and we'll talk with the head coach of the Four Winds Minnewacan ladies basketball team, Sean Gourd. Back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Coach Gourd, how are you?
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz, zzz?
I think your quash later valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We're live from the Stadium Lodge. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP network. And, hey, if you're looking for a place to, have some lunch this afternoon, make the Stadium Lodge your home. Specials going on throughout the day, full-service menu, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here at the Stadium Lodge. Well, we stay on the hardwood on the girls' side of things, and now we go back up to Four Winds Metawakan, and joining me right now on the phone is the head coach of the Lady Indians basketball team, Sean Gourd. Coach, good morning. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, yeah, as you guys await the bus, as you got a game tonight against Midway Minto. But, Coach, hey, take me back to the start of this season and a team last year you finished 15-8. You win the district. Tough loss, in that region for an opportunity to go to the state tournament. But more importantly, you bring back your whole roster from last year. So as a head coach, that's a pretty good feeling as you go into a new season.
Yes, definitely. Obviously we brought back everyone from last year. There's about at least a handful of games last year we lost fairly close, within 5 points, 10 points. They were winnable games, but I knew with we had the potential to do some good things this year, before we started. And, we've been playing well. I got a nice group of seniors, a nice group of leaders, and they're on a mission. And,
and you talk about, obviously, you talk about that mission, and right now you guys are ranked number 2 in the state, right behind Kindred, and certainly that the battle there continues. But you look up and down your schedule, and really December 28th before the break, you come down, you knock off Shiloh 68-66, and talk about maybe from the start of the season to where you're at now. How much improvement have you seen in this team?
We're like I said, we had the ability to do some things, I think, when we started, and it's just been a growing process throughout the year. We got a nice few wins. We beat Grafton and we beat Shiloh, and we beat Thompson a few weeks ago. It's been a process, and every game I think we're just getting a little bit better, and that's what you want to do. I always tell the girls, we don't want to peak right now. We want to peak. We want to peak when it's getting to the end of the season, and I think we're still going up. We're still going in the right direction right now.
Hey, Sean, you sound like every West Region basketball coach that I talk to, boys and girls, is they'll tell you is that, you know what? Hey, a couple losses in December, maybe a couple losses in January. Yeah, okay, we'll take it. But you know what? The reality is we want to be playing our best basketball at the end of February. And obviously the same thing holds true for you, because that's when you start getting into that and really that state tournament run.
Yes, definitely. That's where we want to be. Our school and our community on the girls' side, the boys' side, been the state every year practically. But the girls have never been to the state tournament, and I know a lot of the girls are pretty excited about the season, and we're hoping to get over that hump, get over that Langdon Cardinal hump that's been in our way the past few years, and we actually play them on Monday for one of the last few games of the year, and we got Langdon on Monday, and then we got another big test on Friday against Rugby. So we got a couple solid games to finish out the year, and we're actually pretty pumped for Monday. The girls are excited, and we got to take care of business today, obviously, but we got that date circled.
Well,
Monday.
I'm sure you do. Lang and Edmore Munich getting some votes in the most recent poll, and as you said, you've got them coming up on Monday, and then you've got rugby, and really, if you look at that, you know, talking with Coach Smith too about, you know, how you start the season, end the season, and those are probably pretty two good games that you maybe want to end your season with to really get that gauge of where your team's at as you head into that district and region tournament.
Definitely, you know, we got the, you know, there's a reason why we schedule those games to show any, you know, if when you play good teams, you expose a lot of weaknesses, you know, and that's the reason why you do it. And we just hope to keep getting better off of those games. And yeah, you know, we just want to keep rolling as much as we can, I guess.
Sean, what's the best part of this basketball team? I mean, what do they do well, and really what's maybe one thing that you feel that you got to get better at as you head into this start nearing this postseason play?
I think one good thing about that we have this year is our leadership right now. Leadership, and been able to keep our composure when, you know, we came into a couple tough spots this year, and we just kept our composure, and we just, you know, we've been, and our effort's been definitely been a big factor, and you know, we got a few girls back from eligibility now, and you know, that just adds depth to our bench, and you know, we go pretty deep now. We're down to about nine deep now. You know, I like to play. So, you know, we'll take that. I'll definitely take that. And then, like I said, our effort is definitely a big reason. Our effort on the defensive end is the biggest difference, I guess.
Well, hey, when you talk about, I don't care what basketball you're in, but whether it's boys or girls, but if you can go 9 deep into your bench in Class B girls basketball in North Dakota, and feel comfortable with who you have on the floor at any given moment, I mean, that's pretty comforting for a head coach.
That is, you know, and it's tribute to the girls. They came in on a mission. We've been going to work. You know, we put our hard hats on and we get after it. And you know, they, like I said, it's a really good. I got 8 seniors this year, and you know, they're all, you know, they all like all seniors. They want to finish strong. Their high school career is strong. You know.
Well, and
that helps quite a bit.
Yeah, and certainly, obviously, this could be a group that you have, you know, as you talked about. You know, they've never been to the state Class B girls basketball tournament, and this could be a group of young ladies that really could etch their name in Four Winds Minnewacan basketball and getting there. And when you talked at the beginning of the season, Sean, and you set these goals, knowing that, you know, you got Langdon area, Edmore Munich in the route. What was obviously the number one goal is to win the state Class B tournament. What's the process? What was the process like with this group of ladies coming back? What were those goals? What did they look like at the start of the season?
You know, we try to break it down into a few different sections. You know, we got our you know, our off district schedule. You know, non-district opponents and region opponents we play. Then we get into our district schedule, in which we want to take care of, and we've been pretty fortunate with that so far, and we've just been, you know, we're going to be stepping in. We're going to finish strong here at the last few games, and we got our postseason coming up. And you know, I always thought that's you know, with the girls put in a lot of work over the summer, just playing a lot of ball and you know, working on their skill set, and it's just you know, they were on a mission, especially after last year. You know, they knew this was the year to do it, and you know, we're just like I said, we've got a good group of leaders here.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you continue to roll and Coach Smith and his guys continue to roll, it could be one hell of a march for the communities of Four Winds and Minnewacan, could it not? Yeah,
definitely. You know, that's something that, you know, we take pride in over here. You know, a lot of the kids just put in the work, and you know, as coaches, we try to, you know, keep them on the ball and do our best, you know, and I think we're excited. There's definitely a buzz in the community, and we're you know, in other communities also. You know, we're just, you know, we're excited.
Yeah, well, I think you should be. I mean, it's you know, had a chance to see some highlights of your game down here in Shiloh, and certainly you've got a great group of ladies, a good basketball team, and Sean, hey, I appreciate the time this morning. Best of luck to you today. Best of luck to you coming up next week. Couple of big ones, and hey, I'll be following you, and we certainly hope we get a chance to see you up at the Betty Inglestead coming up first part of March. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you got it. Sean Gourd, the head coach of the Lady Indians up in Four Winds, Minnewacan, as they try to continue to roll right on through the season, as they've got a date with Midway Minto today, and then a couple of big ones coming up Monday, Langdon, Area Edmore, Munich, and then a week from, February 4th, they've got the Rugby Panthers, as we said, rugby in a tie for third in that Class B, most recent Class B girls basketball poll. So the Class B girls season starting to shape up, and it should be a fun postseason for the Class B girls basketball in the state of North Dakota. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll head to the eastern part of the state. We'll talk with the voice of the UND Fighting Hawks, Jack Michaels, back with more after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high
the
school
stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge and Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network. Hey, if you're looking for a place to, get some lunch, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here in Northwest Bismarck. And it's been a long time since we've had a chance to talk to, one of my favorite guys and legendary voice in the state of North Dakota, and the voice of the UND Fighting Hawks. It's Jack Michaels. Jackson, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, Scott Woodmansee. Great to be on PSP, where I originally thought that stood for pretty solid people. Hi, Scotty.
Well, Jackson, I love, knowing you just came up with that one right off the top of the head. That's just how you work, and that's just how witty you are. But nonetheless, Jack, hey, it's been a while since you and I chatted, and I know we got through a football season, one that Bubba probably wants to turn the page on a little bit, and then you roll into the basketball season, and I know today you're getting set to call a big game today as South Dakota in town. But boy, I mean, what a run though that these Lady Hawks have been on until they run into a buzzsaw last night, or on the 27th, I should say, against South Dakota State. But what a fun season right now for the Lady Hawks.
Yeah, it really is. I always, going back and having been, as you mentioned, I think having called for so many places in the state of North Dakota. Scotty, as you know, one time I was doing play-by-play for North Dakota State for many years, and now at UND. So I was looking back the other day and kind of reflecting on how, at least in the women's game, when you think of the old North Central Conference and Division II days, how either North Dakota State or North Dakota just dominated the landscape. I was chatting with Amy Ruley, ironically, yesterday at our radio properties in Fargo, and we were talking a little bit about that, the old Bison women's coach, and then, how they just dominated. And now, Woody, as it really has turned over to the South Dakota schools. South Dakota and South Dakota State are the barometer in which you measure your team.
Yep.
They're the stick. They're the ones that are winning the Summit League Conference championships. They're the ones that are going on to the NCAA tournament. They're the ones that, for goodness sake, South Dakota hosted the Gamecocks of South Carolina this year. South Carolina came to Vermilion, for goodness sake, Scott. I mean, that's for USD. I mean, that's just unbelievable. So that script has flipped a little bit. So now to what you said, though, for UND, after going through, with Mallory Bernhardt and her staff, Mallory, that interim taken off this year, and they're implementing defensive concepts and trying to get more of that hard-nosed basketball at an attack. And, it takes time. But the greatest thing is, Scott, and you've been around the game long enough, I don't care what, men, women, high school boys, girls, when you physically see growth and you're around that organization a lot, it really is fun to see. And now I physically started seeing, the concepts taught applied to a game that results in wins. And that faction has happened just last 6 out of 7 games. You mentioned Thursday night. Thursday night was one of those. Thursday night reminded me, they won 6. Thursday reminded me playing for the Williston Coyotes back in the day when we were feeling pretty good about ourselves, and then we walked into Century's gym and going, John Schaefer just went off at us, or walk into the St. Mary's and Woody McBride go off for 40, going, I guess we weren't as good as we thought. But today's another different task. South Dakota State is good, Scotty. South Dakota is the cream of the proverbial women's crop. They are 10-0 in the conference, 17-4 overall, one of the top mid-major Division I teams in the country. They are loaded, and that COVID year, all these kids got an extra year, Scotty. So each one of South Dakota's girls, they're 38 years old. I'm not going to lie to you. They're 38 years old. 2 of them have grandchildren on the team that play. I'm being a little facetious, but they have all of their weapons back, and they're all a lot of redshirt seniors. So it's going to be a big order today, Woodman.
Hey, Jack, and for a lot of people that may not know this, and it was just a short, and you touched on it a little bit about the interim tag being taken off Coach Bernard and everything like that, but a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, this program was in a little bit of turmoil not too long ago. And in doing what she's done, I mean, boy, I tell you what, as you said, to be a part of it, to be inside it like you are, Jack, I mean, winning breeds success. We know that. And to do what she has done from where this program was not too long ago, that's pretty impressive.
It is, and she brought some kids in. Keep in mind, Scott, during that transition, players probably, it's tough to coach in this day and age because kids now, I always say this, Scotty, nowadays in college athletics, the athlete has the leverage.
Yep.
You're playing football, you don't like who you're playing? Well, I think I'll enter the transfer portal. I'm gone.
Yep.
You're playing basketball, I'm not sure that maybe you're, for some reason, don't think you're getting enough minutes or whatever. I'm out of here. It's changed, Scott. I'm not so sure for the better at times, but that's what's kind of happened. So that'll happen to Mel, too. She lost some girls that just entered a transfer portal, and they said she kind of had to go, okay, well, good luck to you, and brought in some other pieces, a DePaul transfer, Jolene Daninger. And when she hits a 3, I try to sing, and I can't, as you know, Scott, long time work. I try to sing Jolene. But the call is so long, it's like my Track It Down March home run call. The call, when Jolie hits a 3, the next line to that song is "Please Don't Take My Man," and I don't think that would be appropriate for me to say during. But they brought her in from DePaul. They brought a Detroit Mercy transfer named Samaya Hoskin that really is a blue-collar kid that knows her role, rebounder. And they brought a little point guard from Dallas, a JUCO transfer that's kind of fast that fills the backup spot on that. So they've added some pieces. They've gotten a little healthy. Casey Baravich is the story, by the way, Scotty. She is second in the country in free throw in all of Division I women's basketball in free throw percentage. leads the conference in scoring. Had a rough night Thursday night, but everybody did. And she's the story out of Roseau. It's proof that not everybody played hockey in Roseau, Minnesota, by the way.
Well, not to mention, Jack, another young lady that you talked about, that's up there playing some minutes is a young lady from West Fargo, and Maggie Manson. I mean,
yes.
How has a junior and she went there right away, and obviously part of that Manson family, and she's been a pretty key piece to this basketball team as well.
I'm glad you brought that up, Scotty. Guys like you and TD and Chuck and the crew, you've been broadcasting Maggie from her high school days at Cheyenne, and Miss Basketball finalist. And Maggie obviously is known for her shooting ability. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The kid's got unlimited range, and defensively, she's really worked on her craft defensively. But I'll tell you, part of that 6-game win streak North Dakota just had, Scott, was against a very good Kansas City team, and Old Mags dropped 3 threes and like 2 within a span of a 30-second where it just kept getting deeper and deeper. That really helped ice that game out. So, it's funny you mentioned her. She's like 10 feet from me right now. She probably knows we're talking about her. So, just kidding. And she's just a, smart kid, obviously comes from a pretty good lineage. And I was going to kick for Ross being a standout player for North Dakota State, her dad. And when I see Ross enter the game as a parent, I'm thinking, I wonder how much gear, that UND gear Ross had before he probably had to buy a whole new wardrobe.
well, not only that, Jack. I mean, you talk about that, and so did Kevin Feeney. I mean, his son up at University of North Dakota. It just doesn't seem right that you got a Feeney that's going to be attending the University of North Dakota. Now, granted, his uncle attended the University of North Dakota, but in its own right, that's a whole new wardrobe for both those guys.
Yeah, we get a real good kick out of that in the eastern end of the valley and then in Moorhead with Kevin. But what it all boils down to? It's kind of the parent side, as you know. They're just glad that their sons or daughters are competing and having fun at the collegiate level. And you brought up Maggie Manson. They're gonna need her today. She can drop shots. But the range. I remember, when I called games at the University of Mary, when we talk about unlimited range. Kayla Rogers at the time.
Yep.
Remember, Kayla would get in front of the half court, and nobody would, they'd back off her with good reason. And then she just launched into like a 29-footer and hit it, and nobody guarded her. Why? Because she's 29 feet from the hoop. And then she would hit it. Manson's got that kind of range, and boy, when they're going, it's fun to watch.
Well, Jack, and I can tell you, I know you got to get going here for your pregame, but real quick, I don't know how much on the high school side you've been able to cover, but you're going to see a young man up at the University of North Dakota next year with the last name of Eaglestaff, and when you talk about range, he walks into the gym, Jack, and he's open.
I chatted with Jordan Wilhelm a while back about just trying to get to know what makes Trey tick, and as you know, Scotty, and I asked him, he just got that night where he went off for 52, 9 and 8, whatever his line was, just ridiculous line. And Willie told me, he goes, you know what happens? He texts me the next morning to open up the gym at 6 o'clock. And Jordan says, I have to fight with the kid to tell him, no, get off your feet. Just stay off your feet. And then he goes, inevitably, Eaglestaff wins it. I go open up the gym for him so we can go shoot. So I text Paul Ralston, who does the men on the road. I said, I always give him Eaglestaff's numbers. And the reply is always, we could use him right now. So that's good, and it should make for a good A. I cover and I do the PA work for Fargo South, so I get a chance to see a lot of the EDC. And obviously Davies, the young Claybo kid, is the real deal, Woody. As you know, he's one of these. He's one of these going to be highly pursued, and I'm sure, a freshman now? I mean, he's just off the charts, impact kind of guy. He dropped 45 the other night. So they're a good club. They're going to play. The girls' side, obviously I think Century High certainly has maybe an inside track. There's some teams over here that can compete, but a lot of times they're beating up each other. So we'll see what happens. And, on the Class B side, the Kindred Vikings, I mentioned how South Dakota, each girl is 38 years old that plays for USD women.
Yeah.
Kindred has like 25-year-olds that all play. It doesn't seem like any of those kids, but they've all played so long. They certainly are a very good team on the Class B side. And the boys' side, obviously the Four Winds of the world and Kindred. I'm looking forward to the high school tourney, Scotty, no question.
Jack, and we'll let you go after this, but this is one fact that I didn't know this morning. I had a chance to talk with Sean Gourd, the head coach of the Four Winds Minnewacan Indians, and I did not realize that Four Winds Minnewacan on the girls' side has never been to the state Class B tournament. Well, You got the boys' team undefeated, you got the girls' team undefeated, and if both those two can go through Region 4, look out, because there will not be anybody in Four Winds or Minnewacan or surrounding communities in the first 2 weeks of March.
That's incredible. That really is what you just brought up and made known today, Scotty, is the story probably in the state of North Dakota, or at least one of the high stories. But I'll let you in a little secret. I threw darts at a place in Minnewacan a year and a half ago. I was there and then went to the fire hall and checked out their new fire engines.
Oh, only you can be in the obscure spots that you are across this state of North Dakota, my friend. Hey, Jackson, have a great call this afternoon. I'm sure that coming up here in a couple months, there's a high chance we're going to run into a gym somewhere in the state of North Dakota, all right?
There's no question about it. Woody, keep doing what you're doing. Say hi to the fellas, and pretty solid people, baby. PSP. Thank you, Woody.
I love it, buddy. Take care. Have a great call.
Right.
Jack Michaels, the voice of the UND Fighting Hawks, doing what he does. It's always great to talk with Jack as UND got a tough one today, as you heard, up at the Betty Engelstad Arena. Well, that's going to do it for another edition of Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, as we want to thank all of our guests today, Tanner Spencer from UMARY, Dan Glaser from Dickinson High, Jason SCHWARZ from MINOT, Rick Smith from Four Winds Minnewacan on the boys' side, Bray Fox from Glenullen Hebron, the Lady Bearcats, also Sean Gourd from the Lady Indians, and also to Jack Michaels from the UND Women's Basketball. Reminder, coming up today on the PSP Network, you will hear St. Mary's and Minot High basketball. And, again, be sure to go out, check out all of our social media platforms, like and follow, as we're certainly looking forward to the postseason coming up, as we're going to have a lot of basketball for you right here on the PSP Network. Again, if you're out and about today, make sure you stop in the Stadium Lodge, grab some lunch, full-service menu, lots of TVs. So make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Until next time, Scott Woodmansee saying so long from the Stadium Lodge.
This has been a presentation of the PSP Network. We thank you for listening to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, live from the stadium. Make sure to head to the social media platforms for the PSP Network to like and follow, to stay up to date with all things sports in Western North Dakota. PSP Network, it's game day.